Hi and welcome. I'm Lisa Mincing, and I'm so excited to be back here on the Whimsy Stamps channel with you. As we all know, we're halfway to Halloween, and the video team is thrilled to bring you some spectacular content. Our amazing design team sister Nancy, also known as the Handy Scandy, came up with this frightfully fun idea, and we knew we had to jump on board. From howling nights to frightful strolls with Frank, our team has put together a collection of Halloween themed projects that are sure to get you in the spirit. Make sure you check out our Half-O-Ween Hop and Giveaway to see what chilling creations we've come up with for you. This is a hashtag driven hop, and all that means to you is by simply clicking that blue Whimsy Stamps Half-O-Ween hashtag in the title, you're going to be able to find all the videos participating in this hop. Now you can find all the details directly below in the description box along with that hashtag Whimsy Stamps Half-O-Ween. Just hop along, leaving a comment at each stop for a chance to win that $100 gift certificate sponsored by Whimsy Stamps. And I want you to let me know in the comments below how you feel about this hashtag driven hop. Thanks for hopping along, and let's go ahead and get started. Let's have a quick look at my top 3 Halloween products from Whimsy Stamps. Number 1, hands down, the Monster Parade die set. I love all the silhouettes you get in the set, but my favorite guy from this set is Frank. If you've followed me for any time, you know I pull him out every Halloween to create a fun card with him. I also love the fact that these are silhouettes because you can create an easy ink blended background for them. And what a great way to mass produce a bunch of Halloween cards at one time. Now, moving on to my number 2, build a pumpkin patch die set. And again, silhouette dies are so versatile. I've created so many cards with the fall and Halloween season, and I've even used the leaves from this set throughout the year. You can ink blend the pumpkins, stamp designs on them, or use Whimsy Stamps Halloween expression stencil with this set. Again, another versatile die set. So I'm going to move on to my number 3. Everyone needs a great Halloween sentiment set, and You're My Boo is my go-to every year. I love any stamp set that lets me easily create my own sentiments, and this one has me covered. I'm telling you, there's so many options with all the words in this stamp set. And I do love the larger words for the inside of my cards and for creating easy backgrounds. So now that we've covered my top 3, let's jump into creating my first Halloween card for 2023. I'm starting with the Whimsy Stamps Boho Circles die set. Now I love these dies for so many reasons. They're perfect for creating these wonky circles for layering. You can create your own stencils with these and do some fun ink blended backgrounds and add a large sentiment for a quick and simple card. But today I'm going to use it not only to add a fun layer, but I'm going to stamp a scene onto that layer. And I'm going to be using my favorite seasonal tree stamp set. I'm giving you all my Halloween card making tricks in this video. So off screen, I ran that die through my die cutting machine using my favorite Nina Avalanche White cardstock. This is 110-pound cardstock. It is the same classic crest line as the too popular Solar White cardstock. It just has a higher brightness value. I'm using one of the trees from the Whimsy Stamps Seasonal Trees stamp set to create my frightful scene. And I'm stamping this onto that die cut boho circle using 2 shades of gray dye inks. Any dye inks you have on hand, the brand doesn't matter. Honestly, you could use Distress inks or even Distress oxides for this step. I just prefer the dye inks because they dry quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp 3 trees on here, and I'm stamping 2 lighter grays and then 1 darker gray. So on the sides I have the lighter gray, and in the center we'll do the darkest gray. That's going to create our scene, and then we're going to do some die cutting using that number 2 favorite of mine, the Build a Pumpkin Patch die set. So I'm cutting 2 of the smaller pumpkins, and we're also going to do 4 of the leaves from this set. Now we're going to hang on to all the pieces, the die cut pieces and the negative leftover scrap pieces. And I'm going to show you a trick to using those leftover negative pieces while you're ink blending the die cut pieces. So we have all of our die cut pieces here, and I'm taking a piece of masking tape, and I'm going to take this negative piece that I had left over and attach it to the sticky side of the masking tape. Then we're going to inlay all of our die cut pieces, and when you're ink blending small pieces like this makes it so easy. Now I have a piece of paper that I can hang on to while I'm trying to ink blend those tiny pieces. And I don't have to worry about grabbing another tool to hang on to something. Everything is in place and easily ink blended. So I'm going to do the pumpkins with gray. I'm starting with a lighter gray, and then I'm just going to use some black ink that I have left on my blender brush to go across the bottom of the pumpkin and darken that up just a little bit. We're not looking to create any kind of design with this. We're just adding some color and a tiny bit of shading. We're going to do the same thing with the leaves. We're going to take that negative piece, lay it down on our sticky side of our masking tape, and then inlay all the leaves. And I'm using 4 shades of green. You could use 2, 3, however many you want, 1. And again, I'm using dye inks, but you could use distress oxides, you could use pigment inks, distress inks would work. Any ink you have will do the trick. It's just I grab for the dye inks because they tend to dry much quicker than pigment inks or distress oxides do. So now that we have the die cutting done and the ink blending done, it's all very basic stuff to build this card. I'm going to go ahead in true Lisa fashion and play around with the placement of my pieces just to give myself an idea of where I'm heading next with this card. And as I'm sitting here playing with it, I'm realizing one thing, that the white card base that I have laid there, I'm not liking that very much. And so I thought, okay, well, let's go and grab our bats embossing folder from Whimsy, and we'll create some interest with those embossed bats. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to go ahead and take this white cardstock and run it through our embossing folder in the die cutting machine. Now I'm lining it up with the top of my card base here, and I'm going to go ahead and spritz it with alcohol. Now, if you don't like to use alcohol in your craft room, most certainly you can use water to do this, and I recommend that you get into the habit of doing this every time you dry emboss with an embossing folder, because what happens is that liquid is going to soak the fibers of the paper, and it's going to allow the embossing folder to mold the paper into the design more easily than if you went in with that dry cardstock. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference in the way your embossing looks when you use this spritzing that paper. Now, I use the alcohol because it just dries quicker and it keeps me moving along. I'm not waiting or having to grab my heat gun to dry the water. But like I said, you can use water. It works just as great. And you can see here how much that by wetting those fibers, it really creates a really nice, deep, embossed look with that. So another thing that it helps to prevent cracking on your paper and also tearing of the paper when you do it that way. So I'm going to line the bottom of this card base up in my folder and run it right back through. Spritz it. Of course, I have to spritz it, and then I'll run it back through, and we'll go ahead and have our card base ready, or so I thought. I actually end up taking this and cutting it down because I still am not happy with just the plain white. I want a little bit of color, a little bit of contrast in this card. So I'm taking it to the paper trimmer, I'm cutting it down by about 1/8 of an inch on the top and the side. And then I'm going to add mounting foam to the back of it and center it on a piece of Nina Desert Storm cardstock, 100 pound. At this point, it's just a matter of me layering all the pieces onto the front of the card base. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know now, I am a dimensional person. I like a lot of dimension. So I use a lot of mounting foam. You, however, can totally skip the amount of mounting foam that I use and just glue your embossed panel straight to your card base. Then come in and add your boho die cut circle with the stamping on it with glue as well. Maybe you don't want to add dimension to the back of Frank. I did, so skip it and glue him straight down. It's completely up to you how you add the layers to your card. I really love a lot of dimension on my cards. I don't mind paying the extra postage. I realize that's not an option for everyone. So use glue if that's not an option for you, or maybe you like more dimension than me. It happens. But please make this your own by layering it however feels right to you. So with that said, I had die cut 3 of the Franks from a black cardstock, and this is a heavyweight black cardstock, 110 pounds. And I'm layering 3 of them together using my Barely Art glue. This has become one of my favorite glues. It's all I have in my craft room right now, other than glossy accents, which I use for sequins. But as far as liquid glue, Barely Art glue is my go-to right now. I'm going to go ahead and layer the 3 layers of Frank up and let them dry. And then I'm going to add mounting foam circles to the back of him and get him placed on the card. We're going to place the pumpkins and the leaves. And while I'm doing all of that, I do want to take a second to remind you that this is a hashtag driven hop. So you're going to see in the title, hashtag Whimsy Stamps Half-O-Ween. And all you have to do is click that because you see it's blue. So once you click that, it's going to bring up the rest of the videos participating in the hop. And you want to be sure you check out all of the videos, leaving a comment and subscribing to their channels so that you'll have a chance to win that $100 Whimsy Stamps gift certificate. Now let's go ahead and get back to the card and finish wrapping this up. So now that I have all the pieces layered on here, I've decided that it needs a little bit something else to help with that frightful scene. So I'm grabbing the Halloween postage stamp set. This is a great stamp set. It could have been in my top 3, but oh, we'll say it's number 4. How about that? Okay, so it has all these great little stamps that are perfect for when you need to grab something like I'm doing here and add a little element here or there. It also goes great with Whimsy's postage dies. So there's a lot of things you can do with these. It has a lot of interactive sentiments on there like push here or pull here, close, just different things like that that are great for interactive cards as well. But I'm going to use the bats and I'm going to add a little bit of more spookiness to my scene by using the bats from this. And it's a cluster of 3 bats. They're sized perfectly for this card. Also, there's a tiny little sentiment in here that says Happy Halloween, and it's going to be perfect stamped right in that empty space there below that set of bats on the right of the card there. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that too. Now I'm just using my favorite detail ink, VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I'm going to just stamp it. Now, because I have so much mounting foam behind this boho die cut circle, I'm having no issues stamping like this. If you want to create the same exact scene, I recommend that you do all of this stamping before you put the mounting foam on the back of it if you're going that route. But you can see here how by just taking the bats and stamping them twice and then stamping that Happy Halloween, it just pulled all of that together. And I am loving this card. I love the way that it's turning out. So now we're going to go ahead and stamp the inside of the card. So I'm going to place this in my MISTI and open it up. I'm just going to let the top half of the card hang out of the MISTI. And we're going to use the big Halloween sentiment from You're My Boo sentiment set. And then we're going to stamp that using my favorite Onyx Black ink. And then we'll also come in with an acrylic block and stamp Have a Frightful, and then it'll say Halloween. And then I'm going to stamp the bats again in 2 places to the left and the right of my sentiment, and this card is going to be finished. And I have a start on my Halloween cards, and this has been such a fun hop. I'm so glad that we went with the HALF-O-WEEN theme. It's been a blast. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we have. Thanks so much for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps channel. I really do appreciate you. As always, I have all of the links provided down below in the description box. If you want to check any of the products out that I've mentioned during the video, just click on those affiliate links and it'll take you right to that product. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. We are always here to answer those for you, and we'll answer them as quickly as possible. Again, I appreciate you all so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the fun. Until next time, please take care.